It's go time.
Bring this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Roll call, all board members are present. Any public comments on closed session items? Seeing none, we'll close. Board members are present, and our superintendent is going to lead us in the pledge.
We rise. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Report on actions from our closed session, conference with legal counsel. We have an anticipated litigation claim 655580. Ms. McFarland motion and Ms. Alexander second, and the board rejects this claim 65580 by the following vote of 7 ayes and 0 noes. For personnel matters, a public employee appointment for employment, Mr. Nava motion and Mr. Stroh second, and the board approves the placement of Timothy Hurls as the principal, adult education CTE at Lincoln Tech, effective 2025-2026 school year, by the following vote of 7 yes and 0 noes. We have some public hearings tonight. We will be using this a lot often tonight, uncomfortably. We declared the local control and accountability plan open. Do we have any board comments on this? Any public comments on LCAP?
Superintendent Young, President Dr. Ball, members of the board. One of the things I had in the LCAP, and it's on page 1 of 133, is, or actually I'm sorry, it's on page 2, is the expenditures for high need students in the LCAP. The district budgeted $90,582,000 and only spent $82,876,000 for a difference of $7.7 million. And in here it says, despite the variance, there was no impact on services for high need students. All plan supports proceeded as scheduled. However, I think we really need to look at this because how many of those classrooms for our high need students had substitutes or interns? I mean, I think that's one reason for this huge discrepancy. And that needs to be addressed. I know that I have spoken to some of the teachers who do the assessment team, and they're telling me they have caseloads of 80 to 100 students because they have to step in for teachers who are not credentialed in these classrooms. That's just not sustainable, and we only have 2 of them, or 3 of them. So I think a big chunk of this is the fact that we don't have qualified teachers in there, and that's very, very concerning to me. So I think that's something the board needs to address and make sure going forward we do our best to get credentialed teachers in these classrooms. Thank you.
Seeing no other public comments, I declare this public hearing closed. Declaring the 2025-26 budget adoption open. Do we have any board comments? Any public comments?
Again, members of the board, I almost said washer, I can't believe I said that, Superintendent Young. One of the things that I noticed in here is from that you're going to have ending balances of anywhere of 169 million to 172 million through 2028 from a 500 million annual budget. We are carrying over a lot every year. We've done it, we did it last year. Last year we carried over 250, almost 250 million. And this is money that the taxpayers give for you to spend on kids. This is not a bank, this is not, we're not a profit-making company, right? We're here to serve students. So I have a real concern about this budget and how much money is not going into the classroom. Thank you.
Seeing no other public comments, I declare this public hearing closed. I declare the developer fee justification report and the proposed statutory level 1 developer fees open. Any board comments on this? Any public comments? Seeing none, I declare this public hearing closed. Superintendent's report. Sir?
I have nothing to share. You can go. Sorry. Yeah. There's lots to share, but I thought,
Yeah, I was going to say.
for the sake of the meeting, keep it moving along.
All right, well, thank you. We're opening up public comments on consent agenda A. The public may address the board on consent agenda A, routine business. Each public speaker shall limit their comments to 3 minutes, and please state your first and last name when you come up to the podium.
Billy Yates, Dr. Ball, Superintendent Young. I just wanted to talk about item A3, about the hiring of some teachers in the personnel matters. We need to have some pages and pages and pages of special ed teachers, and we don't have them. And I feel like I failed this year because we don't have more. And so I'm going to try to do better this year to work with you to create the circumstances where those special ed teachers wants to come to Lodi Unified, because we desperately, desperately need them. I don't know if you hear it, but I have to wipe some tears and feel like I need to give some hugs to some people who are experiencing what it's like in Mod Severe and Structure Land, and those who are trying to help them, because we just don't have enough teachers, and the teachers that are coming in, of course, are young and new, and it takes a couple years for them to get their feet wet and ready, and we're not getting experienced teachers, we're not getting teachers from universities. So we need to change that condition. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Sean Arroyo. I am with Technology, one of the ones in the warehouse. I just wanted to say that we are so thankful that the district is moving forward with this project, as we know that Edith and Lisa have been working on this project for several years. This shows that the district understands and is working to rectify the challenging conditions that we are faced with daily in the warehouse. Thank you.
Mr. Arroyo, can I request you to give us an item number that you'd commented on? Is there a specific item?
A17.
A17, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would the board like to pull, or the staff like to pull any items from this agenda?
Madam Chairman,
May I please pull item A5?
A5. Okay, can we have a vote for items A1 through 4 and A6 through 17?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the rest of routine agenda 8.
Thank you.
Who's seconded? I did. I support it.
Do you have the motion and the second noted?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, thank you. Let's have a board vote, please. Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Ms. Letterman?
It jumped off the screen, sorry, 1 second. But there it is, okay. I mostly just pulled it just to kind of point out the differential between all the schools on the money, but I'm really excited that we are bringing music to the schools and highlighting this passion for this board to continue that. I'm really glad that that these schools have that opportunity, and excited to see what they bring next year. Maybe we'll bring them to a board meeting.
Okay,
Motion approved, A5.
Second.
thank you. And let's have a board vote, please, for A5. Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Do we have any public comments on consent agenda B? The public may address the board on consent agenda B, student matters. Each public speaker shall limit comments to 3 minutes, and please say your first and last name. See none? May I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve consent agenda B.
Second.
Thank you. Can I have a board vote?
I have a question. I needed to pull, so when stuff on A, why is it stuff on
Or did you want to pull for B?
A? Yes. No, it's just fine. Thank you.
We do have a motion on the floor. Can we have,
Point of clarification,
Yes.
you want to pull
I'm
and
gonna pull to abstain.
for, consent agenda B is student discipline cases. Are you looking to abstain from student or specifically from,
Never mind, we're fine.
Yeah,
Because
that would be under
the red's
other
not
action if you
sinking,
wanna
So
pull.
I wanted to make sure I didn't.
Yep.
That's all right.
no,
okay, that's okay. We have a motion. We have a motion on the floor. Can we have a board vote, please, for consent agenda B? Motion passes 7-0. Just for clarification, Ms. McFarland, was that okay? Okay. Public comments on other action items. The public may address the board on other action items. Each public speaker shall limit comments to 3 minutes. If you can please state your first and last name.
President Dr. Ball, members of the board, Superintendent Young. Wow, there's several things here. Oh, Lisa Wilkins from Lodi Education Association. The Measure U Oversight Committee report, when you came and asked teachers to support Measure U, and when you asked actually all district employees to support Measure U, we have these, still have my binders like this thick of all the plans that you were going to do with all that money. And it just seems to me that although there have been things that have been done that needed to be done, Needham needed to be done, Lodi High needed to be done, a lot of it has been spent not on fixing aging classrooms, because we still have a lot of aging classrooms. We spent a lot of money on athletic facilities, and it's just very frustrating for me to have been one of those people who went out and publicly supported Measure U and not seeing everything that we were promised to come to fruition. And as far as the fee justification, item OA1-2 or OAI-2, it's really interesting to me because here we are asking developers for money for more schools where we are saying that we have declining enrollment. For example, we have Larson, which I know is bursting at its seams, but not far away from it, we have Beckman, which has open classrooms. Why are we not looking at modifying our boundaries? I agree, Lodi Middle School, that's been needed to be expanded and upgraded for a long time. I totally agree with that, but I think we need to look at what we've got instead of building more. We use what we've got. And then finally, on items OAI3 and OAI4, LEA, after months and 12 bargaining sessions, one that went to 10 o'clock at night, the only thing we resolved this year is the impacts and effects of the 7-period schedule. There was one minor improvement on the tentative agreement, which helps elementary teachers who take additional students into their classroom, and that will give them a little bit more money. But it's really frustrating that all this time we have not come to, the district didn't even look or didn't even discuss the TA proposal that we gave, that LEA gave at our first bargaining session back in November. And that still has been put to the side. So I'm glad we got something, but I know that Mr. Yates discussed attracting teachers to the school, to our school district. This is one reason that we have a problem in attracting teachers to our school district. Thank you.
Okay, we're going into item OAI 1. Measure U, Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report 2022 to 2024. Mrs. Holbert.
Yes, good evening, President Ball, members of the board, Superintendent Young. This evening, I have committee member Stephanie Hammond here to present the Measure U Bond Committee Oversight Annual Report.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to represent the Measure U Citizen Oversight Committee, of which our members are currently Michael Mark, Ron Heberly, myself, Stephanie Hammond, and we still have 4 vacant positions, them being the taxpayer organization, parent or PTA member, and 2 at-large. Additional members will make it to where we can provide these reports in a timely fashion, and so that we can meet our quorums. So if anybody can reach out, we'd really appreciate it. For this report, we are covering the years July 1st, 22nd through June 30th, 2024. This annual report is in accordance with Proposition 39, in which oversight committees are required, in person, and upgrades that are coming. And we also reviewed that the annual taxpayer 100,000 of assessed value has not exceeded $60. For the year ending 2023, it was $33.50, and then for the year ending June 30th, 2024, it was $44.70. All of the funds that went through audit, we have reviewed and found that the Lodi High is in compliance with the requirements set forth by Measure U, Prop 39 School Board Election, and its bylaws. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holbert and Ms. Hammond. Really appreciate that. Do we have any board comments on that?
Yes, first of all, there's only 3 members, and I really want to thank you because I know the task. We've been through that before, and hopefully that we can recruit some more people. But thank you for your services and all you people do in the report. I appreciate that. Now, when do you have your meetings?
I should have looked. Well, we typically have them 4 times a year. We have a rough calendar that we set up, and then we revise it based on people's schedules. So as of right now, our next meeting will be around August 14th, barring any change of schedules. And we review the projects, what's going on, like the largest upcoming ones being Lodi Middle School and Elkhorn. And we've, basically done line by line for the 52 projects. It's really remarkable that we're allowed that kind of transparency. And I would say for anybody else who has interest in where their tax funds are going, that everything is there on the website. You just have to delve into it. Any other questions?
Any of the board comments?
Yeah, I got the impression Mr. Young was going to double their salary.
Volunteering.
Just a double espresso shot.
Yes.
But thank you for, I'm just trying to make light of the fact that you are, not make light of, but the fact that this is done voluntarily, it's a gift of your time, which is very precious for all the board members. I know that Mr. Harold is here tonight as well. That's very special. And the community appreciates it. I appreciate it. And I know the board appreciates it.
I'm just waiting for any other board comments if someone has any, or?
Madam Chairman, I move we approve the
Thank you.
report.
Second.
Can we have a board vote, please? Motion approved 7-0. And thank you to all in the committee, even though it's so small. Any parents, any family members willing to participate, please do so. Item AOI2, Resolution 2025-70, approving and adopting school facility fees justification report for residential, commercial, and industrial development projects and authorizing increase in statutory level 1 developer fee rates. Ms. Holbert?
Yes, again, President Ball, members of the board, Superintendent Young, before you is the action item to approve and authorize the increase of the statutory developer fees.
Do we have any board comments?
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you, board. May I have a vote, please? Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Item OAI3, ratification of the Memorandum of Understanding with Lodi Education Association, impact and effect of 7-period hybrid day. Mr. Young?
Yeah, before you, to be approved. This has gone through Leah and it's now coming to the board.
I move we approve.
I was hoping for any board comments, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mr. Nava. Any board comments? Seeing none, I take your motion, Mr. Nava.
Yes,
And
move
Mrs. Sosek.
approve.
Thank you, thank you. I'll take a board vote, please.
Who's second?
Mr. Stroh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Item OAI4, ratification of the tentative agreement with Lodi Education Association, impact and effect of 7 days straight period. Mr. Young?
Yeah, once again, before you, this goes along with it, impacts and effects, and so we're bringing this to you for approval. It's gone through Lodi Education Association as well.
Okay, any comments from the board?
I move we approve.
Second.
Thank you. And we'll take a board vote, please. Motion passes 7-0. Item OAI5, credential waiver application and approval. Mr. Young?
Yes, this is, we need to bring this to you. It's a credential waiver application, and it's before you. This is the process we go through periodically for your approval.
Any board comments?
Motion approved.
Second.
Do we have a board vote, please? Thank you. Motion passes 6 yes, 1 abstain, no opposed and no absent. Thank you. Item OAI 6, resolution of 2025-69 for the hiring of short-term classified employees. Mr. Young?
Yeah, we'll bring this resolution to you to hire short-term classified employees for your approval.
I move we approve.
Seeing no board comments, I take your motion, Mr. Nava.
Who went second?
And I'll take a board vote, please.
You can give it to Sharon.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Very effective board this evening. Public comments on reports. The public may address the board on reports. Each public speaker shall limit comments to 3 minutes, and please state your first and last name, please. Seeing none, we'll move on to the reports. Joe Cerner, Junior Charter School, annual update. Mr. Lambert.
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, members of the board, Superintendent Young. This evening, we have for you a report, the annual report for George Cerna Junior Charter School, and I have with me Principal Alejandra Estrada.
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, Superintendent Young, and members of the board. So we'll go to the next slide. So here we have an executive summary providing an overview of what our school is currently at regarding student attendance, our state and local academic data, along with a financial report indicating estimated savings for this current school year. And then we will also have information about what the focus will be for the upcoming school year. Here we have just an overview in regarding student attendance and suspension data. And so as you can see, we had a slight increase in our attendance, and also there was just a slight increase also to our student suspension, but our expulsion rate remained unchanged. The state and local data indicate that we did have some increase to our ELA assessments based on our CASP scores. Our financial report indicates that we had an estimated savings of $132,966 for the 2024-2025 year. And this upcoming year, our focus areas lists out several items that I would like to continue working on with my team, and looking at specifically our implementation with our California Association of Employee Association, so we're still continuing our negotiations with that. Continuing also with some team building, and also looking at continuing my meetings with our budget department, ensuring that we're within reason and sustainability. Also looking to improve our dual language program by partnering with CABE, the California Association for Bilingual Education. And this year we're looking at partnering with Be Glad and also the Sobrado Early Academic Language. We're also looking for I-rating mathematics and continuing the fidelity with the program itself, and looking at that because it's also provided in English and Spanish. And we also want to focus building our relationships with our parents and our parent-teacher association. And this also provides opportunities for our parents to be engaged. And so this past year we brought back 30 hours of volunteering. And so we were able to celebrate 56 families that actually completed the 30 hours. And so it was a really nice event for them. And also just continuing to provide positive behavior intervention support and looking to apply for recognition for next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any board comments on this report, please?
I do have a question. Looking at the suspension rate increase from 1.1 to 3.5, any investigation or like improvements from your list that are going into that?
Yes, and the data that was gathered from the prior year, it's always a year behind. And the reason being at that time, that's when students were being able to have access to vaping products, marijuana, and so we had a high increase in students bringing those products to school and using them. So that's why there was an increase. But this year, now that we have vape sensors installed, we have the cameras, so anytime we have alerts, it's waiting to, I check the camera, see who's walking out, and then I walk right behind them and say, hey, what's going on?
Thank you. Any other board comments?
I just want to thank you for all the work you put into it. We both sit on it, and your committee, and you guys do a fantastic job, and I know a lot of work went into this. And I will say your LCAP meeting was tighter than our LCAP meeting, so that's been personal, but you did a great job with it, and so thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Thank you.
Same thing, I want to thank you. I mean, as you know, both my kids went through there. They're both have majors in Spanish from college and are using them in their work life. As soon as my son gets a job. But he has the previous summer. They always say, oh, translate, so. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Mr. Nava.
Yeah, are you using the Houston area now completely? So that's completely complex for Cerna?
Yes, so we recently just had the Houston letters come down, and that was a
You said that publicly?
But you know, they were just mounted up there for many years, so it's really nice to see our name on there. So just to provide that ownership to the school.
So you're using those offices there?
I'm sorry,
Are
say
you
again?
using those offices that they have?
Yes, we are, yes.
Okay.
It's very nice to have
Yeah, it is.
walls to the ceiling.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I just had a quick question for you, Mrs. Strada. There's a savings at the end of this annual budget. Were you hoping for a saving, or it just happened that you had savings?
So it just happened that we had a savings, and some of the reasoning behind that is some of the action items on our LCAP, because of the CSE negotiations, we weren't able to fill some of those positions. And so in the narrative, I was able to capture, some of that. So that's why there was some savings. But the goal is to make sure,
We utilize all of it. And so do you have any plans for the savings that do exist currently?
So yes, so once we are complete with our CSE negotiations, and once the ratification process happens, then we'll be able to open up a position for community liaison and just other positions that may come.
Do you think that'll make a good positive impact on the students that go there with all this? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. Really appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure your board appreciates it tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. All right, we have reading difficulties, screener adoption. Dr. Horton?
Yes, Board President Dr. Ball, members of the board, tonight we have reading difficulties screener adoption. We have Mrs. Susan Peterson, Director of Education, and some selected guests that she will introduce. It's a process that they've been working on now for some time. It's a compliance response to the state and things that we must do. And so they put together a very outstanding process and inclusion to make this happen across the district. So I'll turn that over to them, and they can share a little bit about this process and what it means.
Thank you, Dr. Horton. Well, good evening. President Dr. Ball, members of the board, Mr. Young, I'm not sure where he went. You may not remember me, but I'm Susan Peterson. It's been a long time since I've been up here. I serve as the Director of Education, and I actually really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you tonight on behalf of the Universal Screener Adoption Committee. We're here to share with you the rationale behind why it was necessary to adopt a universal screener. We want to outline the process that we followed in making this very important decision and present the committee's recommendations. So joining me this evening are the dedicated educators and administrators who have been a part of this process and very actively involved. So if I could introduce them to you tonight, it'd be my honor. Serving over here, we have Ms. Colleen Guidi. She's a teacher on special assignment at Oakwood Elementary. We have Miss Marina Berry, who's currently serving as a vice principal, soon to be principal. Behind me, we have Jenna Powell-Freeman. She's a teacher on special assignment, and the one and only Ebba Martinez, who is our amazing coordinator of English learners. And together we're going to walk you through this journey and highlight how this initiative will support our students for academic success. So the next slide, please. You may have been following Ed Code in Senate Bill 114, which was authorized in 2023, mandating that all local school districts in California screen students in kindergarten through second grade for reading difficulties and including dyslexia. Guess what? Beginning in the school year of 25-26. So to be in compliance with the legislations, local education agency must adopt a screening instrument from an approved list before June 30th of 2025. So in light of this, our committee has worked diligently to evaluate potential instruments and ensure we select one that meets the needs of our students in alliance with the requirements of the law. But before we go on, I do want to take time because a statute does clarify for what for us and defines what a reading difficulty screener is and what it is not. We feel like it's very important to highlight that today. A reading difficulty screener is a brief research-based tool that will be used to identify students to be at risk, may be at risk for reading difficulties as early as possible. What we want to be clear on it's not a diagnostic or evaluative tool. In other words, it doesn't determine whether a student may qualify for special education. Rather, it is designed to help schools intervene early to provide support through our multi-tiered systems of support before moving towards a more formal evaluation. We feel like it's very important to highlight that. So what I'd like to do is ask Marina now to talk with you about our committee and the process the committee went through to make our recommendation. Marina?
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. To ensure a comprehensive and collaborative approach to adopting a universal reading screener, we intentionally formed a diverse community representing multiple roles and areas of expertise across the district. An open invitation was extended to all K-2 classroom teachers and teachers on special assignments, or TOSAs. Interested individuals were asked to complete an application indicating their background, interest, and experience. District leaderships then selected committee members, ensuring diverse representation across school areas, roles, and expertise. As depicted on the slide, here is a breakdown of professionals on the committee. The companion document attached to the board agenda has a comprehensive list of the names on the committee. The cross-functional team has worked collaboratively to review state-approved screeners, ensure alignment with MTSS and legal requirements, and pilot tools to support a broad range of learners, including English learners and students with potential learning difficulties. The result is a well-rounded and informed recommendation that reflects the needs of our students, staff, and schools. Next slide, please. From the onset, the Universal Screener Adoption Committee followed a structured timeline and used the Reading Difficulties Risk Screener Adoption Toolkit provided by the California Department of Education as our primary guide throughout the process. The toolkit served as a comprehensive roadmap, ensuring that our decision-making aligned with Senate Bill 114 and reflected evidence-based best practices. To complete this work thoroughly and thoughtfully, the committee met on multiple dates over several months. The structure and guidance provided by the toolkit ensured that our process was methodical, inclusive, and legally compliant, while keeping our focus firmly on student success and equity. I will now turn it over to Colleen so that she can share with you the screeners we piloted, our voting process, and recommendation.
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, Board, Superintendent Young. As part of this process, our committee examined all 4 screening tools that were presented from the state and from our County Office of Ed. After careful analysis, we narrowed it down to pilot 2. We selected Amplify and Amira. By piloting both Amplify and Amira, we were able to do a few things. We were able to compare the tools side by side in real classroom settings. We gathered feedback from teachers and specialists. We evaluated how well each tool identified our students that were at risk for reading difficulties. And it helped us to assess the level of support and training that would be needed for our teachers in order to have a successful district-wide implementation. The pilot was conducted at a variety of schools: Title I, non-Title I, Joe Cerna charter schools. We made sure that we had populations from all of our students: English language learners, students with disabilities, students living in poverty. We wanted to be thorough to make sure that all of our students represented in this district would have the best tool provided. The data and feedback collected from this pilot directly informed our committee's final recommendation, ensuring that this screener would be effective and equitable to all of our students. Next slide. To ensure that all the voices were heard and that our final recommendation would truly represent a genuine consensus, we used a structured 2-step process, including an anonymous voting tool, that would support open and honest participation. So step one, initial check-in. Where are you at right now? How are you feeling about this? We began with a non-binding anonymous vote to gauge where the committee members stood after the pilot and review process. This first vote wasn't about choosing our final screener, but it was rather a way to reflect on individual readiness and perspective. Committee members were then invited to share their why they selected what they selected, giving space for thoughtful dialogue, clarification, and collective learning. This created a foundation of mutual understanding and trust. Before moving forward, we asked if everyone felt comfortable with the idea of moving forward towards consensus. A shared agreement was that, yeah, we could stand behind this as a group, and we decided to proceed forward, which led us to step 2, the final vote, toward consensus. So after additional discussion and reflection, we held our second anonymous vote, which focused on our final recommendation. A group of members did express a preference for Amira, based on some features as its automatic interface and support for the multilingual learners. Next slide. The majority, however, voted for M-Class Civils by Amplify, citing that it had stronger alignment with teacher-led instruction, actionable data, and better integration into our MTSS. When we asked those who preferred Amira if they could support the majority selection of Amplify as the district's recommended screener, they all responded yes, expressing comfort with this decision and confidence in the process that we chose to lead us here. This consensus-based approach was grounded in anonymity, dialogue, and respect. It allowed us to move forward with a recommendation that reflects both a broad support and professional integrity. And now, Ms. Jenna will share how the committee will define the purpose of the screener and connect that to our existing early literacy consistencies in Lodi Unified.
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. As we move forward with the adoption of a universal reading screener, it's important to note that the committee has committed to defining a clear and shared purpose for how this tool will be used within Lodi Unified. While the state provides the legal framework and approved instruments, our local implementation must reflect our district's values, student needs, and instructional priorities. The committee unanimously agreed that the purpose of the additional screening measures are to ensure early identification and intervention with evidence-based early literacy instructional strategies and materials, which improves literacy outcomes for our students. It also evaluates specific student needs and progress as part of a broader process that supports ongoing learning. It also uses and is able to inform parents and other educators to discuss individual students' needs and supports. Next slide, please. Lodi Unified School District has long demonstrated a strong commitment to early literacy through research-based programs and consistent practices. Our universal screener adoption aligns seamlessly with these efforts and will be supported by well-established organizational structures to ensure effective implementation. Key organizational consistencies that will support this initiative include DIBELS benchmark assessments. They are currently administered to all kindergarten through second grade students 3 times a year, at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. This routine establishes a solid foundation for monitoring student progress and informing instruction. Amplify additional measures screeners. Many of our trained staff are already familiar with these tools, which facilitates smooth integration of the recommended screener into our existing practices. Development of a guidance document. To support educators in making data-driven decisions, we will create a clear, user-friendly guidance document outlining recommended steps to support students identified as at risk. This resource will help maintain consistency and clarity across classrooms in Lodi USD elementary schools. By leveraging these strong district-wide literacy practices and organizational supports,
Lodi Unified is well positioned to implement the universal screener in a way that enhances early identification and intervention, reinforces high-quality instruction, and ultimately improves literacy outcomes for all of our students. Next slide, please. To ensure a smooth and effective rollout of the universal reading screener, we have established a clear timeline that emphasizes proactive planning, professional learning, and readiness for the 2025-2026 school year. In summer to the fall of 2025, there will be targeted professional development sessions for all kindergarten through second grade teachers, RSP teachers, and mild moderate special education teachers, grades K-6. There will be hands-on practice with the selected screener tool, which is M-Class Dibbles by Amplify. In the middle of the year of 2025-26 school year, the screener implementation will begin. During the middle of the year benchmark window, additional screening measures will be administered to all kindergarten through second grade students. Teachers supported by TOSAs, ELA literacy coaches, and site leaders. Ongoing opportunities will be made available for professional learning throughout the year. And now I'll hand it off to you.
Good evening, President Dr. Ball, members of the board, and Superintendent Young. I get the best part. I get to say thank you. Gracias. On behalf of the Reading Difficulty Screeners Adoption Committee, we would like to thank you for listening to our report, and that the staff will be bringing back a consent item to approve this recommendation at the next board meeting. And we definitely, on behalf of Susan and myself, we want to thank the members that worked with us, the teachers that took time out of their classrooms, the TOSAs, the administrators, all of those individuals that took time to sit in through the committee process and listen to what was being presented and make a really good decision for our district. So we want to say thank you to them as well.
Thank you so much. Anytime such a report comes, it's encouraging to see that good things are going on and we're making progress in the right direction. Thank you so much. Do we have any board comments on this? Sherry?
I just had a couple of little questions. First and foremost, I'm always excited about, early identification. I'm curious to anybody who's actually used it. Is it user-friendly, tech-friendly for those who might be challenged? Do you see it being able to be quickly learned by a brand new teacher who might be overwhelmed, those kinds of things? I'm just curious your personal feelings.
I really appreciate that comment. I'm going to ask Jenna Paul-Freeman, since she's sitting at the microphone right now.
Hate to put you on the spot.
She's been working with this screener, with the M-Class Dibbles platform for many years and is very familiar with the screener components. So I'm going to let you go ahead and answer that question, if you don't mind.
It is very easy to use. We have a lot of supports in Lodi Unified set up for new teachers who are learning the program. We have ELA TOSAs, we have coaches, professional development, so all those things are provided. And the additional measures that we are doing as part of the reading difficulty screener are also very user-friendly. It's on the same platform we currently use for Dibbles. So it's for the teachers who've been in Lodi Unified, it's something known, not something new.
Approximately how long does each screening take? I know in the past there's been some things where it's very encompassing and hard.
The additional measures take, the one-on-one time is 1 minute, and then the independent time for the student is 5 to 10 minutes tops.
I think a clarifying point is that we've been using Amplified Dibbles for our diagnostic for probably 12 years. So this is a platform teachers are extremely familiar with. The additional piece is going to be, like what Jenna said, a very small ask for them. Yeah, and that was part of the decision that the committee was making, because they were like, it was something I think they felt very familiar with, and that made them feel very comfortable to integrate it easily.
Great, thank you.
Susan, what is your goal?
My goal? Do you have enough, how much time do you have?
2 minutes.
Mr. Nava, that question is such a great question because the goal I think the question you're really asking is what is the goal of the screener?
Right.
And the goal of the screener from the state's legislative standpoint is to help us identify early students who are at risk for reading difficulties. But with your guidance from the board and your support from the board and Mr. Young's leadership, our school district is way far ahead of where other school districts and the legislation are from. So if we haven't been doing the work for the last, 4.5, 5 years, this wouldn't be so easy. It's going to be an easy lift. We already have lots of really great systems in place that will support it, so we're really excited about that.
Are you implementing all this in every elementary school?
Of course. Most of it, Mr. Nava, has already been implemented in a cohort rollout that we've spoken about a couple of different times to you publicly. This is just another layering of something that we've been doing, and we're almost fully implemented at every school site. But yes, this will be an ask of the elementary schools. Yes.
Okay, I know you started April 16th or something like that.
Well, that's yes. The state of California told us in January, or excuse me, yes, it was January, right? Late December, what the list of instruments that we could choose from. And then they told us to adopt something 6 months later. So this process was very quick and efficiently, and people worked really hard to try to do what they could to find the great screener for us.
I'm excited about this program because we need to have these students start reading at an early age.
That's right.
And comprehending what they're reading. That's very important. My gosh, maybe, I know that we need some parental support also for this because that's where it starts. You know, and some of the parents that we have in our district have no knowledge or books even available for those little kids to read. And if we could disseminate some of that stuff, would be great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Mr. Porter?
Yeah, I just have two really quick, one statement and then two questions. First of all, thank you for all your hard work. When you say reading, and does that include comprehension? Or is that reading and just reading the word and not knowing the word is?
Well, I mean, again, how much time do you have? Because there's a framework we can go into that explains exactly.
Well, I do know that we're having problems with comprehension.
Correct. What we're doing right now is focusing on the decoding part, the pieces of that a student needs to have in place before they can read the words. So and then there is comprehension part of the diagnostic, but the screener piece is just those phonological awareness, processing aspects that we need to.
Just decoding the word then. They don't have a concept of what the word is.
They don't, and we work on that too. That's a different part, but the screener is looking at just do they have the phonological awareness.
Okay, and then I noticed, and maybe I'm off base here, but at CERN you had one pilot program?
And we piloted both of the Amira and Amplify at CERN. They were part of our
I was just
committee.
reading one pilot. It said one pilot. And so you have data from that?
Joe Cerna, Joe Cerna was part of our committee, so their data is in this work.
Did you do other pilots?
We piloted just the two platforms, the two instruments, Amira and...
Not how many schools?
We had Oakwood, we had West Wagner, yeah. We had Wagner, we had, hold on a second, we had Mosier, we had Beckman represented, we had Lawrence, and
So then the pilots
Portrait.
were to...
And Cerna.
Or more for, not for the
Larson.
students, but for the teachers, to get a feel for the programs themselves. And
Correct.
you were also looking at how effective these programs, also you were looking at how effective they were. Is that correct?
I think your question is, were we piloting to see the ease of the
Yeah.
platform
The
for
familiar.
the teacher?
Yeah.
That is true, but the second part of your question was, we also looked at how well the students responded to the platform as well. And unfortunately, one of the vendors, for our littles, we had a really hard time with, because of it was a computer adaptive type of platform that was listening to the student, and they weren't picking up speech issues and other things like that. So, so we really did get a broad look.
So it was a twofold thing, ease of use and how effective they were.
Correct.
Right. And then the comprehension, you said that's a different part that you'll talk to me later about.
I would love to have a really nice discussion with you on comprehension, because that is the next step in the work we're doing with our organizational consistencies around reading and literacy in general.
Well, if you don't comprehend, we can't go anywhere.
100%, yes.
Thank you for your time. It's really thorough, and you ladies did a great job. I am impressed.
This is a wonderful committee.
Yeah, it sounds like everything was put together, and I loved how you gathered all the data, you brought in the teachers and administrators, special assignments, all that stuff just shows collaboration at different levels, things that I just love to see. So we can hopefully pick something that might work, and if it doesn't, then we move to something else. So that's what we do. We keep it fluid. So I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. I was going to have Ms. Lennon give a comment. No?
My question is just on the multilingual group that had concerns. Was there any mitigations that we need to put in place to make sure our multilingual learners get the support that they need?
I'm going to have Ms. Martinez address that question for you. It's a great one.
Yeah, so definitely our bilingual paras are going to be a key piece, because they will be the support to help those students with the language, and also working with our teachers, with our students. I think, again, to reiterate what Susan had said, this district was leap years ahead in preparation for early literacy. When we sat in the county with other districts, they weren't even nowhere near where we were in the process of early literacy. So already our multilingual students are already in the lead and having that support, and having not only a curriculum, but the diagnostic assessment, the trainers, the training that the teachers have been through, and the support that I've been working with Susan to be able to support those that I oversee to help our multilingual learners. So it's definitely a plus.
So there are mitigations in place at every single school, since you rely on bilingual parents?
Yes, yes, and I rely on the teachers as well.
And second question was on one, thank you for having a timeline. Looking at kind of your timeline, have you guys implemented any change management for everyone across the district? Any information, flyers, awareness, knowledge type building?
We have we've front-loaded this quite a bit. This has been something that many folks have known that was coming, talking about it with administrators, teacher groups, just large amount of people that have been involved. We have a pretty thorough plan in place, and I'd be happy to share it with you via electronically, when a professional development plan, a way that we'll roll it out to teachers, making sure that they're aware. We just have to adopt the screener before we moved on, and it was such a fast process. And over the summer, we're working on the guidance document that we had just mentioned out there. So, but we will definitely send that to the board if you'd like to have that, Ms. Lennon.
Would you like to have that, Ms. Lennon?
I think it'd be nice for the whole board.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll send it through Mr. Young.
Thank you. Ms. McFarland?
Yes. So I'm going to go back a little bit. In December, when California School Board Associations, I'm a delegate, met, this was the #1 concern, is how do we pre-identify from 3rd grade. Fast forward to May, we met for an entire weekend, and most school districts were, everybody was panicked. We were asked what was the #1 thing we want in legislation to move literacy. Everybody said early identification from 3rd grade. Hats off to you. I can tell you, of every district I met with that entire weekend, nobody has done anything. They are all in full sweat panic. Some had ideas, but where you're at are light years. So kudos to the district. Again, when I go to those things, it just reminds me of what a phenomenal district we have. I won't yay.
I just want to thank you for all of your support with always approving that large core bill that comes through and supporting our initiative, because it is because of you that we're so far ahead. So thank you.
So my $1 million question to you is this. If we're screening and we're helping and we're using all these things, what do you think that third grade, when you assess, what do you think that's going to do? What do you think all this is going to do for us? Because we know what we want it to do and what we expect it to do. I know you have hopes and dreams and what you expect to see. Are you willing to go on record and go, we're going to be 10% ahead, or we're going to be? Do you have a hope?
I think Mr. Young would like to answer your question.
So one of the great things we're able to do with DIBELS in assessing our students' growth over a year is we're able to look at the year's growth. We're ready to bring that in August, at the first meeting in August, and working with UVA's team in the assessment department, also looking longitudinally, looking at students 2 years ago who were in kindergarten, where they are in second grade this year, and being able to monitor that progress over time, because I think that's a big piece of it. I know that Mrs. Peterson mentioned that, and I think Mr. Porter brought it up, it's one thing to know the words, it's another thing to know the words that you're reading. And so that's another piece of it, that development of both sides of reading and lung fluency. So we will be bringing that to you, looking at the data and looking at the longitudinal data, and I think that speaks to the question you asked about that growth.
So my other second question, do you see this going into younger? I mean, do you think, obviously it's a different format, but do you see us going down even lower?
Yes, and being that's exciting, because one day I'd like to come back and talk to you about the TK rollout, because we have had some fabulous work with preschool and TKs. But yes, oral language development is what we are working on big time with our littles. Yeah.
I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
Kudos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just have one more question. How are we doing on the dashboard?
Okay.
That's what I go by. I'm pulling it up right now.
I know, I wish that if we could have early reading be measured on the dashboard, we'd be rocking it. And there are some really great data points that we have locally, and it is coming. It's just we're making gains, and you have to go back to implementation science. It takes a little bit of time to ship this big of a ship. But I have anticipation. Mr. Porter, if you're going to be on this, I hope that you're on this board in another couple of years, and we can show you how much we are going to change it.
God willing. Yeah, because I use the CDE report a lot, just to give you an idea of how we're doing. Even though many people would say it's unfair, to me, all I got.
That's all I got. Well, you make triangulation of data.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're going to show you other GOTS beyond the dashboard.
I just want to make sure that we're above the county and close to the state average.
Duly noted.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. This was a wonderful, refreshing report of success. Thank you. Moving on to our next report. It is a 2025-26 school sites and comprehensive support and improvement, and additional targeted support and improvement, and targeted support and improvement. Dr. Horton.
Yeah, so President Dr. Ball, members of the board, so that is a mouthful indeed, and want to complicate it even further by saying we're going to take the next 3 items all together because they travel as a pack. As you know, when there are certain seasons in school districts, and one of those seasons is as we prepare for a new school year, there are requirements and compliance issues with Title I, and that involves school site plans and all the other compliance documents that come along with that. These 3 items that are next on the agenda all travel that way. So I want to first of all thank Kelly Collins and Jamie Kaipolinski for all the work that they've done in the background. There are countless meetings, phone calls, communication transmissions that go back and forth to pull all of this information together. And as you noticed when you open up each of those items, There are myriad documents that are there, and there are people that have to compile them. And so I want to thank them for their coordination and bringing it together, and for all the school site principals that participated and rally so many different people and ideas and data points and so forth to get those in there. These are required documents that have to be done year in and year out. So a very large tip of the cap to everyone that puts them together. So with that, I wanted to share with you that that's the reason these documents are all here. They all represent a different slice of the work. They're all part of the compliance package that must be done for us to be compliant. So none of these can be, none of these are optional. School districts cannot duck out of these in any way. So I want to turn that over and ask if there are any questions. I have Kelly and Jamie here, and principals as well, that could answer any specifics you might have. So I'll turn that back over to the board.
Thank you, Dr. Horton. Does the board have any comments?
I have
Any comments from the board?
I have a quick question. When each site is compiling this, is it, I mean, obviously different site to site, does that fall under the principal to do this and assign a group or a task group, or I'm sure, or does the principal sit there and do it all himself? You know, this is a daunting task.
It is. I know some people that could answer that
specifically. Do you want to tell us how much happens?
Exactly how this goes, because there is a very mind-bending process that goes on to make sure all of this comes together in the right order.
Good evening, board. Superintendent Young. Yes, we have our school site councils at each school. Part of Title I funding is that each Title I eligible schools is part of the mandatory requirements for compliance. And to receive that Title I allocation is that you form a school site council. The school site councils are made up of members of 5 parents, or comprised of the school site council. They are elected by the parents. There are 3 certificated staff members that are elected by the certificated staff members on that school campus. There is 1 other staff, which would be our classified staff member, elected by the classified staff of that school site, and then your school principal. So that comprises the school site council, and they must approve that school site plan, the school plan for student achievement, prior to it coming before you tonight.
Thank you. Any other board comments or questions? Well, thank you for undertaking this daunting task here. This is amazing. And I know you guys put this together every year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No other comments, Dr. Horton? You're good? Thank you. All right. Remember, these are reports, so it's really nice to hear what's happening out there coming in, and I'm hoping at some point maybe we can highlight one of these schools and just bring them out as a single report, single site report. I don't know if that's a possibility.
We could always draw straws and find someone who's lucky enough to do
Just
that.
a lucky one who gets to speak on the whole thing.
Yes, they'd be pleased.
Thank you, Dr. Horton. Moving on to 2025-26 school plan for student achievement. Dr. Horton?
No, these were all part of the same
You
package.
just want to bring them all together, even the parent
Package deal.
engagement policy? Yippee. We move on to the board advisory committee reports. Any board members want to report on any advisory committee reports? All right, we'll move on to comments from the public. A 20-minute period is allocated for the public to address the board on matters not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If there are numerous speakers, speaker time limits may be adjusted. To share materials with the board, please provide them to the staff for distribution. Due to restrictions under the California Brown Act, the board cannot engage in discussion regarding public comments. Please do state your first and last name before starting. Michelle, can you do comments? Thank you. All right. From the massive pile, I pull out Bill Yates.
So do I get all 20 minutes?
Nice try.
Dr. Ball, Mr. Young, it's, I'm changing up what I was gonna say because as a parent of a dyslexic student who, even though I'm a special ed teacher, we missed for quite a while. And I actually got a chance to meet one of the ladies who brought this to the state assembly. And how hard it was for her to get this, and how I'll just tell you, this was inspired by a master sergeant in the military, who was her husband, and is dyslexic, and how hard his life was, but how strong of a person he had to be to overcome this. So I'm glad that we are going in on this process, but I want to highlight one part of that process. Special ed teachers, you have to have a mild mod teacher. You have to have an RSP teacher. Both of my boys in Lodi Unified have both had full years where they've had no RSP teacher hired. We have missing mild mod teachers, mod severe. I watched these speeches about somebody giving an impassioned speech to the board. And I realized that if I was in your shoes, I'd be like, okay, another passion speech. This is wonderful. Great speech. Yay. Okay, can we move on? But I have to speak for the students who can't speak to you. And we have to hold somebody accountable for the fact that we have so much vacancy in special ed. We can't just say it's hard. These ladies worked hard to come up with a plan, but if we don't have consistent RSP teachers, the plan falls apart. If we don't have the mild mod, the plan falls apart. We want to keep these kids out of special ed, but some of them are going to need that RSP support. We have to have those teachers. So please work with us to make the conditions where special ed teachers are dying to come to Lodi Unified. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comments, we move on to comments from employee group representatives. The representative from each employee group will have 5 minutes to comment on non-agendized items.
President Dr. Ball, members of the board, Mr. Young, you all, everybody on the board, along with Mr. Young, Ms. Church, and Mr. Collins, were sent a letter from a young teacher who resigned. And I worked with this young teacher. And she is not alone, because I have met with other young teachers in this district who have been in the same boat. And this is really disturbing to me, because they have been sexually harassed by students and by fellow staff members. We had a person, a student from Middle College who came and spoke to you impassionately. She was in tears because of the sexual harassment she was getting from fellow students at Middle College. And the response from administration here is, we can't do anything. We can't do anything about sexual harassment, which is a crime. It's a crime, okay? Even if it's student on student, it is a crime. So my question to you is, I mean, I could go on, usually I come here and I talk about LEA specific things, but this does affect teachers, it affects students, and that affects my classroom. If a student is scared about one of the people in her classroom, or a teacher for that matter, one of those people in her classroom is potentially harassing her, sending texts, sending emails through district email. Granted, what they're doing is they're using Google phone numbers to hide their true phone numbers. They're using email accounts that are not in district email, but they're still getting through. This is something that does affect LEA, because we're here to protect teachers and to protect students. So my thing here is, I had actually brought this to Mr. Dawson, and I said, what are we doing about school climate? Why can't we do an assembly and get some of our CSOs to say, this is a crime. This is not okay. Why aren't our administrators out there saying, this is not okay? If you are found guilty of this, then these are the things that are going to happen. I'm asking that that be done. I'm asking that that the board directs our schools to inform our students about what impact this has. There was actually, and before they made it private and shut it down, I saw screenshots of using the McNair logo for a Snapchat. So Snapchat goes away, right? But I was shown screenshots. And basically one of the pages in this snapshot is girls I want to rape. And guys were taking pictures of girls on campus unbeknownst to them and saying, this is who I want. That's abhorrent. It was just blew me away. And I even talked to the student from middle college, and she showed me texts where whoever this person was knew that she was on campus, took, again, pictures unbeknownst to her, and was texting things like, you need to, button your shirt a couple more buttons, and yada, 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 and, I mean, it was just, so it's happening. Now, hopefully, one of the things that may curb this is having a cell phone policy that we actually enforce. So here's my issue with that, and I've spoken to Mr. Dawson and Mr. Lambert about that. We need to have, when is it going to be that, how is this going to be enforced? When are we going to take away these phones? Okay? What happens if a kid has their phone out in a classroom? What is the teacher supposed to do? We need those procedures. And I'm asking again the board to direct our administration to come up with those procedures so a teacher knows what to do. Okay? As a teacher, I don't want to spend my time trying to, get kids to put away their phones, confiscate phones. That takes away from learning time, teaching time. But that, I think, will help with some of this problem. But we don't have those procedures in place right now. And school is going to start a mere 7 weeks from now. Where is it? So, again, I'm asking you to take action on behalf of our students, on behalf of our teachers, so we don't get these young teachers who are resigning. By the way, two of the teachers that I know at McNair had resigned.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkins. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. I do have a quick, well, let's go on to board comments. Sorry, let's not digress from our agenda. Do we have any board comments from the members? Mr. Bowler?
Yeah. As you know, last week was graduation, and I was able to go to all the comprehensive high schools and one middle school, and it's probably one of the best times for me during the year to see the success of our teachers and students, well, actually our students and our teachers. What struck me though was the speeches that were given by both the presidents of their student body and the valedictorians, and the tremendous diversity of the students that were out there. I know diversity right now is an ugly word, and I don't get that. I embrace it. And how they wove into their speech the impact that teachers and sometimes coaches had on their lives. Obviously the parents significant, but how our teachers here in Lodi Unified and some of our coaches had such a positive impact. And I just found that very inspirational. And I loved all the diversity of all the valedictorians and all the students. It just made me feel good about our country and where we're headed. And I wanted to thank all the principals and so forth, and particularly the students. So graduation was a blast, and I thought our site administrators did a wonderful job, and particularly a shout out to the students and the teachers, of course, for being on the front line and doing the best they can and having such a great impact. That's so positive, that's so powerful. I mean, I'm really glad for 38 years I taught. I look back now and it's almost like a reverence that I was able to work with students and hopefully have a positive impact on wherever they were traveling. And that's something we need to hold sacred. I know there's a lot of acrimony right now, but we really need to look at that, the power of the teacher and the student and their relationship. So thanks to all of you and wonderful graduations that we had.
Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Okay, I just, same thing with graduation, I was only able to make it to a couple, and they were both really nice, and, but, because it's kind of the, you know, what they call it, keystone, to where everything ends for the years of work the student and teachers and family have put into it, and so it's kind of nice to see, I guess, circle complete, not really a circle, but the journey. So, but there are also a few other things I'd like to comment on real quick, because I won't be here next week or next meeting. But I also went over and I went to the main kitchen a couple times, and to the main kitchen, the supervisor staff was working over at the warehouse. So I was visiting him and I asked Dr. Betty to show me around. She did a couple things. She goes, oh, you want to help out on the line? Supervisor putting, I think they're called grab-and-go lunches, and each bag holds 5 small meals in it. And so it was nice to see what people were doing, but it wasn't a photo op, and I'm a compulsive timer of everything I do. And I worked on the line with them for 2 hours and 10 minutes one morning, and they started before I got there, but we put together 9,000 bags with 5 lunches in each. So that's 45 small lunches. I mean, we couldn't do it, but 45,000. And we had to do it quick because frozen to frozen. Some of the stuff was made on site, other was commercial, and it was really great to see that going on. And so I'd like to not only thank Dr. Betty Crocker, but Renee showed me around the plant, and I forgot the last name, I apologize. Also going to M&O, I heard it was great, and I know my sister likes doing classes out there. She said it's a really great facility. I didn't realize how huge it was and how much is going on. And it was really fun to see some old friends and my new friend Leo. Kind of an inside joke here. I don't want to talk too much about that, but that's kind of. But anyway, I don't think 95% of people, and probably not even 80% of teachers, know what's going on out there and how much there is to get stuff done. Everything from a whole room of air filters, because all the conditioners are different, and that's all energy costs, and it goes down, you can go down that. And so that was really eye-opening for me, and it was good that I learned it and tried to understand this little thing. So I'd like to, could you pass on, well, I sent Joe a thank you, but thank you to Joe and Edith for that, and it was good. And then, what else? It was also fun. I haven't been able to get out much to schools this year, so in the last couple, about a month and a half, I've been to about maybe 10 or 12 of them. And it's great to see, and everybody, especially elementary schools, seem to have a real team spirit, compliment each other, the custodial staff, the security, and it was nice to see. I saw ex-students and ex-friends all over, and it was like they had good stuff to say, and then afterwards I talked to them, they would say, oh, no, it's really like that here. It wasn't a dog and pony show. So that's kind of nice to see that honesty. And one thing, and I know that everything's understaffed, but it'd be great to see shade structures up in all the schools. And Lawrence, for an example, I went out there one morning early. And May was kind of rocky with heat wave school. Was out there on a hot morning when they were doing their house celebration, and it was already hot. And I know there's probably lists of schools that need it more than others and do it, but I'd really like to see that get done, because not only is it a health issue with skin cancer, but also that it puts another learning space in the school. If somebody wants to bring a class outside, and sometimes that's good, and rooms, I'm just going over stuff real quick, and also the safety issue. Some schools, and it's probably, and I know the district painters are busy with the schools, I don't even know what they're called, the little things that go around the door where the doors pop open and you don't see it. So they get students to avoid it because they're heavy doors, and I've been cut more than once on doors. The slide doors in my own house. Good brother. And one other thing, going back to the lunch, and this is kind of going to piggyback on something you said last week. So, you know, they gave me this cute little T-shirt. Lunch is my favorite meal, or my favorite class.
You shouldn't be working every day this
Yeah, I know. But I thought, oh, it's kind of cute, but in a way, it's cute, but it brings apart a message that kids, and you mentioned it, kids don't learn when they're hungry. They don't, and I'm sure we all have a friend that gets, what's the word they use? Hangry. People get angry, you know, when they're hungry, and I'm thinking, okay, love it. So anyway, this is kind of lighthearted, but it also brings a message that food's important, and kids aren't going to learn if they're not getting fed. And some of them, schools are the only meals they'll get, except for maybe dinner. I don't know. I've been told that. You know, we all have homeless kids too. So anyway, and I just want to thank all the staff and teachers for making this yet another great year. And I guess I'll see you next school year, right?
Oh, you're going away?
Yeah. Well, it's just 3 days. I think we're coming back 20th, but yeah, I leave in about 6 hours.
Oh,
Middle of the night. So.
He's going to Spain.
Oh.
I have to check up on my son, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Strong, that was very nice.
I think like that.
I just wanted to say that going to the graduations was amazing, and I want to thank all the administrators that put that all together. Plus our area director, Dr. Horton, Mr. Young. I feel like we should be searching for deals on hand sanitizer now, get big bats, because oh my. And surprisingly, not all sound systems are created equal. Because it was sometimes very difficult to hear, and I hope that we can in the future make sure that everybody's is equally crystal clear as some of the other ones. I wanted to wish, I'm excited about the projects that are starting. I know that M&O is already starting in, water's been turned off at Lodi Middle, and they're going to town. So that's exciting for me, and I know that's a lot for our CSEA employees, our LEA employees, all our employees have hopefully a wonderful summer ahead of them. And thank you for everybody here for the jobs that you do.
Thank you.
I gave Mr. Strong 3 minutes.
You don't have 2 minutes. Any comments, Mr. Nava?
Wait.
No?
Sure.
Oh, okay. 3 things. Congrats to all the grads, and thank you to all the administrators. I had a fun time at my first board meeting, irrespective of the diplomas going flying. 2, I would like to ask President Ball if we could do a special report on SPED, and maybe this is something we can talk about to bring to the board meeting, as there's been a lot of interest in it, and I am very concerned on how this outlook looks for teachers and for next year. I don't know if that's something we can do.
You're requesting for a report on a specific subject or just general SPED?
No, on the teacher outlook for teachers for SPED.
Okay, so we have, I think, our superintendent noting as you speak, yeah? Thank you.
And then 3, a request is, it is concerning since California Department of Fair Employment and Housing Workplace has harassment prevention requirements. I just want to make sure that we do make sure that Superintendent Young's team is making sure everyone's training is up to date.
Write it all down. We do, just so everyone knows, all employees go through sexual harassment training. That is a requirement for every employee in Lodi Unified School District on an annual basis.
Including the board.
What's that?
Including the board.
Yes. You also have your own Keenan Fund.
The Keenan class that you've taken online includes that, Ms. Lemmerman. I'm just going to add to your note, I think you're requesting for the students to have it too, to address the issues that have come up. Is that were you trying to?
Within the Keenan class, there is information on how to report or how to escalate and making sure
How
everyone
not to be
understands
participant in it.
that. Well, that too,
Enforce.
and not to be a participant, but more importantly, to make sure they have a safe place and they know where to go. Also, maybe making sure we check all the school sites, making sure that in the break spaces that it is published, and that's really important.
I will work with Mr. Lambert and Mr. Dawson to provide an update on what happens currently at our schools to provide a safe environment for all students, including any assemblies and different things that they do there to look out for the interests of the students, for sure.
Thank you. You good?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank all the people that gave the reports. Good to see Susan Peterson here at the board meeting for a change.
If you want me to make her come every board meeting, just let me.
That's not my fault. Just the really long ones.
Anyway, this is my 17th year, and I've attended all high school graduations, all 17 years. What a pleasure it is. I thank this year Mr. Young for picking me up. He thinks that I'm incompetent to drive, which is okay. I let him think that. And I had a great time. I know that Mr. Porter and I think, attended all 4 high school graduations.
So did Dr. Ball.
And I'm sorry, Dr. Ball, yeah. It's
I didn't know that Mr. Young was giving you Uber rides. I am on the way, Mr. Young.
I know, but you know.
He does give him 5 stars for his.
So anyway, I had a great time, and again, thank you for the reports. It's good that we're working on that reading, because that's such an important phase for the youngsters at that age to start reading. My gosh, just to give you a story, when I started reading early, it's just like whistling. You know, when you learn how to whistle, I was whistling in the house, and my mom said, "Shh, quit quiet, you gotta learn that." So when I started reading, my gosh, it's just like the light went on. And I mean, I wanted every single book that I could get a hold that I could read. So I think that would be one objective for all our students to do that. It would be great, because I always believe that reading is the source of all knowledge, and it'll help. Again, thanks a lot. Thanks to all the administrators for attending the graduations. I always glad to see them there and have a little chat with them, which we do informally and formally, and that's very good. Thank you again. That's all I have, Dr. Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Nama. I appreciate all our board members taking time and attending every, or whichever one you could. At graduation, it means a lot to our students, their hard work, to the teachers who help these students do the hard work, and the admin, of course, who oversee it. So thank you, each one of you, for any time that you were able to put in and come there. I very strongly feel the words that we choose to speak travel far. Every word that we say creates a disturbance in this universe that you never can take back. So when we speak words, including typing them on the internet forums, it would be nice to be kind to yourself, to your family, to your neighbors. It was very disheartening to read some, actually they were sent to me, some notes on forums about how terrible it is to work in Lodi Unified, and how terrible it is to send your children here. It broke my heart to read these things. If someone who works here has taken time to go on a forum and speak such words, I would ask him to speak to your superintendent, speak to your directors, tell them what bothers you so they can help you fix it. Not every problem is fixable. This is not a perfect world, but everybody's working to get things done. So before we say things, write things, and do things, remember, any disturbance you created is never coming back. You have done it, and you can't take it back. So thank you for all the time each one of you took to be here, to give your reports, to spend the time you spend on it, all the comments, I appreciate that. And cheers to a good summer. Thank you. We have adjourned the meeting. 2 seconds.